So in this session, we're going to look really carefully at the mark making and paint application of Vincent van Gogh. All right, so you're going to copy a section of his Starry Night. Okay, so as you can see, I zoom in there, you can see all the swirls and the marks of the paint. And you remember me saying about how he makes his own paintbrushes and mark making tools. All right, so here I have not used a paintbrush. So today, you're not allowed to use a paintbrush. All right, but you can see the thickness of the paint, you can see the marks that I've made, all right, with the various different implements you can use. So have a look what you could perhaps use. So if we move over here to my palette, you can see I've got my 3 colours of acrylic, because I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit of the sky and then I'm going to let you guys get cracking. All right, I've got a plastic glue spreader, but you could use just a scrap of cardboard. I've got a stick. All right, you could use the end of a pencil, you could use a cocktail stick. All right, you could use the other end of a paintbrush. All right, so we're trying to use things that we can scrape and scratch into, so we get that lovely thick texture of acrylic paint. All right, and that's the consistency of the paint. You can see it's actually quite thick. So when you put it on, it doesn't run, it doesn't bleed together. It's not watery, and we're not going to be using it with any water. So I'm going to start by drawing out some of the spiral shapes just to help me get my paint shapes in the right direction. So I'm just going to draw out and copy the lines and the shapes within that section of the image. You can see the stars are these kind of little circles of light. So we're not doing a really big section, just enough as a little sort of sample, if you like, in your sketchbook. Just turn the camera around. There we go. Okay, so let's go over to the palette. So we can mix some paints together. So I can mix some white and some blue to get a much lighter shade. A bit more white with that. And you know, don't panic too much in this exercise about actually getting the right colour. Okay, this is just kind of having a play around with different ways of applying paint and creating texture and creating marks and experimenting. So I'm going to start to paste this on. I'm going to get a bit of the thicker blue as well. So brushing it, scraping it on with the spreader. Like I said, I'm not going to make this demonstration too long because I just want you to kind of get on with it, because it is good fun this, so I want you to go and have a play. And then dabbing my paint into the spreader into the white. I'm going to kind of use the edge, the flat edge. Just sort of get that sort of spiral shape going on. And then I'm going to go into it with my stick then, and I can start to get those nice kind of lines and marks that Van Gogh has actually made in that painting with his reeds or sticks or whatever it is that he's used to make his mark making tools. So it's about not making the paint so thick, but obviously not spreading it out too thin that when you actually make marks in it, you can't see the texture of the paint. Okay, so it's a bit like when you put down PVA glue, it's that kind of consistency. Okay, so that's the kind of effect that we're looking for. So have a go, and I really look forward to seeing your results.